Welcome back to Green Day Explorer. Today I'm going to show you how I plant and take care of my diaphis. And there's my dog, always helping. I'm going to be planting diathis in this garden. You can see them scattered about. I have a pack of 3. What I made sure was the soil is already moist. Don't work with dry soil. Make sure they're moist, sit out for a little bit, but not soaking wet. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a giant circle, and from that circle I'm going to be adding some extra love, some garden soil, and loosening up the soil around it. So let me show you what I'm doing. For my first part of the diathis, I've done a little horseshoe shape around the garden bed. Now, again, I'm going to be adding some extra soil to give it some nutrients. And then from here, I'm going to be burying them and separating them. They're in sections of 3. And I'll spread those out so it creates a nice horseshoe shape. I clean the area out a little bit more, and you can see my horseshoe shape. Now to add some soil. It doesn't take much, but I added a little bit of soil inside. You can see it's just a hint bit darker, but the sunlight I'm sure is not helping right now. But then I'm going to add my diathis in. After that, I'm going to be adding more of the compost kind of garden soil to give it some life. Pinching from the bottom only, I'm going to push out the plants. The reason you don't want to push out or break up the soil on the top is you can loosen everything up and then the soil falls apart from the plant and it could end up having it dehydrate. And now I'll just lay out the plants and then I will sit them up while I am adding everything else and the soil. They're laid out in their horseshoe shape. Add a little bit more soil around them, and then I will bury them with their original topsoil. I have a little bit more of the outside soil that I dug up to place on top, not at top, but around the sides of them to help support and keep moisture. And then after that, it is a good idea to put mulch, but you don't have to if that's not your desire. Then after a minute, they are all planted, and now they just need a little bit of watering. The soil's already moist and they went in moist, so you don't have to overwater for the first day. But then following the second day, make sure to water and continually watch them. If they get a little droopy, water them. If they're not so droopy and it's a nice day, you don't have to water as much. But just always keep an eye on them for at least the first 2 to 3 weeks when they establish themselves. Here's the results of the first horseshoe of the diathis, planting the hibiscus, and then the second horseshoe of the diathis. And that little bit of shade under the tree won't affect them at all. The sun will move eventually and give them plenty of space. But they will bush out and start to take over and create a nice ground cover with flowers. Now the last thing to do is just clean up the mess and put everything in the garage. Final look and close up at the diathis. Not all of them are blooming, so there's still a huge variety of colors coming. When planting a hibiscus, you want to make sure to bring the soil up to their first branch, as you can see there, just like it's in the pot. You can use your original soil, but what's best is just giving a little bit more nutrient soil. You can choose any one you want. Compost is actually best. and add some around that. Make sure to dig the hole almost twice the size of its original container. They do slowly branch out and root out as they start to grow throughout the seasons. And this is what this one will turn into. Yes, they need full sun.